So one of the things I like about science and geology in particular is that we can use physical materials to try to understand the behavior of Earth and how fractures and faults can occur in certain terrains. And I've been working on the Ozarks uplift for roughly about a dozen years now, since, well, more than a dozen, 14, 15, 18 years now, maybe. And I think I got it figured out, but at the same time, it's always nice to be able to model things. And so what you have here is what we call a physical model. So it may look like a container of yogurt to you, but to me, that surface right there is roughly circular. And I'm gonna apply some pressure to it, like what happened to the Ozarks. And so we're gonna generate some fractures and then actually some faults when we actually perform a little experiment here, which will shorten that landscape essentially. So I may have to rotate it 90 degrees. I think I have to rotate it for the camera here to be able to catch everything, but we can actually measure then the amount of shortening and the type of conjugate faults or conjugate fracture systems that develop. Anyway, here goes. Thanks. So what I've tried to do here is to level up the camera in this copy stand, and what I'm going to do is apply some compression to this container, and you're going to see some things develop in it. So normally I do it roughly at about 30%, well, 30 some percent. So what's that shortening wise? It's about 33% shortening, I guess. But anyway, here we're going to go a little bit beyond that today, just to experiment with maybe what might be considered a little bit more compression. And this is to emulate what happens when the Ouachita Lochthon collides with the southern margin of Laurentia. So here we go with this experiment. Oh, here's the scale. Okay. And to relax. And there you can see the conjugate fault systems that developed. The faults when it was active, and they're no longer faults, but fractures now on that surface. But anyway, that's one introduced trajectory into this thing. I'm going to try to rotate it now, like 30 degrees, maybe from the original position. Roughly there. I'm going to squeeze it again. Kind of messes things up. Anyway, it's an experiment, right? And it's good to eat once you get done. So anyway, there is my experiment looking at shortening in a yogurt container.